Judy.
Shut up! Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dimlits,
Where lit is dim.
where we are not the brightest bulbs in the box. This is a podcast where we talk about Pixar movies because why not?
Pixar. Everyone loves Pixar, right?
Oh yes. And today, for the eighth movie in their catalog, we are covering Ratatouille.
Oh boy!
2007, my absolute favorite from their catalog. This I know you'd seen it a couple times before, and this is Jake's second time. So we're rewatching it for this. It's been a wonderful experience for me. I know for sure. Yes, this movie though came out right after I finished 6th grade. So you would have just finished 5th grade.
Mm-hmm. I kind of remember when this came out. I kind of remember the commercials and the stuff for it.
Where were you, Jake?
Are you gonna make me say what?
Say it
you
out
don't
loud.
have to if you don't want to.
Say it out loud. How old are you?
It was June of 2007.
Almost a junior in college?
He was in college.
My story about this is
almost as. I was a junior in college. Ugh.
Old man.
My story about this is my brother, aunt, and cousin went and saw this, but because I was older and I could go to my own movies, I went and saw National Treasure Book of Secrets.
Such an older movie than this. That was made
I
for
know,
adults.
and I've regretted it ever since because they came out of it because they're like, that was really good. And then years later when I realized one day, I think in high school, I was like, this is my favorite Pixar movie, by far. Why did I not see this in theaters?
Because you saw National Treasure too.
I still can't believe that's one of the worst tragedies of my life.
I love it. That's
Same.
awesome. I don't know if I saw this in theaters, actually.
Yeah,
I did not.
Still in that phase of Jake's life where it's I'm not interested in these.
This is only the second time I've ever seen it, period. So.
Yeah, so I'm saying, so you were still in that phase where you were weren't watching these yet. You say Up was the first one we started?
Yeah, I think so.
So we're getting close.
Close. I'm terrified I'm not going to like it as much as I once did.
Yeah. Well, that's in a couple weeks, though.
Oh, how do you not? That's fantastic.
So without further ado,
give us your spiel, baby.
Ratatouille. Remy is a rat that dreams of becoming a chef his hero.
Really put some effort into these.
Sorry, the first line. Remy is a rat. Sorry, go on.
His hero, the late Gusteau. When his life takes a detour, the rodent finds himself in Paris and his idol's own restaurant, where he teams up with a bumbling garbage boy in hopes of fulfilling his dream.
Alfredo Linguini. What a name!
And that first scene you see him, where it's he's sitting there and he hands Skinner the letter. Whenever he's twirling in a circle like a dog.
I know he's still just chasing him.
Hands it to it. It's like, how is your mother? It's like, well, good. Well, she's been better. She's died.
Dead. Or she.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's so funny.
I love that guy because that was the thumb guy, right? That said that.
Horst. Yes,
yeah.
That's Will Arnett, by the way.
That was Will Arnett?
Yep.
Oh my god, I never knew that. That makes me so happy. I did not know that was Will Arnett.
He's one of my favorite characters in the movie. We don't have a lot of them, but every time there's something funny.
That's what I like is I don't know at what point they were kicking, at what point in the movie they kicked him out, they figured out Skinner was doing all that crap. And he just showed him as just thumb.
It's just, I want that footage of Will Arnett in the recording booth just going, yeah!
Oh, I know. You know he's good. It makes sense because he's just such a gruff voice. Yeah, because that's
yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, the whole kitchen staff, the entire cast of characters is great. There's not a single weak character, and especially the kitchen crew is so good. We don't know a ton about them, but we get just enough to understand them completely.
Mm-hmm. I like that, the way of introducing the whole cast was Gusteau asking Remy, oh, do you remember each of the different positions? And it was the saucier, the sous chef, all the...
Yep, that's the formal way of here's how a gourmet kitchen is run, and then later Colette is telling all the backstories to Linguini, and it's like you start with what is their position, and then you go to here's what they all do. It's like, here ran guns for the resistance. Which resistance? Don't know. Apparently they didn't win.
Yeah, and you just see like Soak like into the background with it.
Yeah, just horse is on time. For what? I don't know. He changes the story every time. It's like, I robbed the second largest bank in Paris only using a ballpoint pen.
Yeah.
I created, what is it? I created a hole in the ozone layer.
Yeah, that was one of them too.
I killed a man with this thumb.
I love such a like shout out to Colette, because like when you have somebody training you that like tells you each of the people you're working with and like what they're like, that's a great training. Like she like legitimately is a good person to work with. It really is. Just want to put that out there.
When he's trying to be all smooth, like we're gonna be working together, she's doing the three knives thing.
Yeah.
And why do you think it's? Because I'm the toughest cook in this kitchen.
I know, it's just like that was such a
Great
good
character.
scene.
There's so many great ones. She's such a great.
She really is. I really like, she was one of my absolute favorites. I think I might have liked her more than Linguini, honestly.
The moment when he's trying to tell her about Remy, I got a little, and did you see her eyes?
Yeah.
Her eyes dart down like a tiny chef who tells me what to do. A tiny chef. Yes, he's up here in your brain.
You're so like, those two together. Their chemistry is it's so good.
Just about everyone's chemistry. The whole thing is just fun.
Yeah, I mean when you like it's like going back like with Pat and Oswald and like his brothers and his dad, like all that stuff. It just feels it feels like a real family. Like it really does.
You know what I wish there was a little more of?
What?
What's that?
Ego.
Yeah.
I wish he was a little bit more in it.
I agree.
But it makes sense for him to not be a part of it as much.
It's not really a fault. It's just kind of, I wish he was there more.
Well, it's Peter O'Toole. True, which Peter O'Toole is legendary.
I mean, how can you literally beat him in that?
I love the when Mr. Ambrister goes there to tell him like Gusto's back is doing. He's like, how could it be popular? His room is shaped like a coffin.
I know. It's so good. It's like, God, I love, and especially like this is probably on your notes, I could imagine.
Probably,
is the last
the monologue at the end is the movie.
It is perfect.
It's
in
so
every way possible.
Good. You were gonna say something.
Yeah. What time frame is this set in? Like the 60s? Or is it like modern?
It might be modern.
It feels modern,
but it could be. I don't know if it's contemporary or not. The TV made it look older.
Maybe it's fair.
None of us live in France, so I mean, I don't know what it was like back in the 60s or what it is nowadays.
I chose to believe at the end this time. First time I watched it, I didn't really care for it. This time I really liked it. I chose to believe at the end. I was like, I'm going to choose to believe that the Rescuers picks up where this leaves off.
Say that again.
I love that for you. I love that.
Because they're rats eating in the top of a restaurant. Eating in a rat restaurant in the top of an actual restaurant.
You're by the Rescuers? Is that what you said?
Yes.
I never made that connection before.
That's brilliant. And Rescuers came out like far before this, right? Like,
well, the first one's like 77.
And
the second one is
1990. 3 or
1990.
I would like to think
1990.
that the reason this movie exists, because of what you said, is they
I don't know about that, but
I know, but in my brain, I just wanted I wanted to be like,
it does seem like a reference that Brad Bird would intentionally make, though.
This was Brad Bird, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, it's like Brad Bird and whoever the execs at Pixar and Disney were like, okay, remember that old Rescuers movie? Remember how they were eating at a rat diner? But okay, bet we're gonna make a movie about how that came to be. Like I know that's probably not what happened. It probably isn't. But wouldn't it be amazing? Wouldn't it be amazing? It would.
I read that even though the technology and vehicles would make you assume this is in the 50s and 60s, Gusto's will is dated 2004.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. According to this.
Well, never mind.
I didn't notice that.
There
I didn't either.
They showed the will too.
Yeah.
There goes that theory. But
I mean, it is Paris, I guess.
It's Paris.
Thanks. I didn't notice that. Which, it looks beautiful. Even 15 years after the movie's come out, it still looks great.
Oh my God.
they do the right thing of don't make the humans look real, make them look like cartoon humans while still having because
make them look like stereotypical French people.
I mean, Skinner is pretty funny. You get.
They're all pretty funny.
Yeah. I love his little stepladder.
I know.
The detail that killed me this time is he has a stepladder to look through the what would you call? Is that basically a porthole window?
Is that what that is?
Basically, like what you'd have
like
on a
the door.
No, the window on the door. It's basically like a porthole window.
Yeah.
And he can barely see out of it with his step stool because he's doing that. And I never thought about, he's got to stand on his tiptoes and barely see over, even with the step stool. Also, he does it when he tastes the soup.
I know, that's what I was thinking, is when he was first tasting the soup, he whips it out and just...
Half that movie is them, unintentionally gaslighting him.
Yeah!
Oh, it's here! It's here! He's just going crazy.
It's it's a wrap, buddy.
And his lawyer's like, should I be concerned about this? About you? Just of course, day one, it's welcome to hell.
I know he's so obviously the film, but I love his kid. He's so unintentionally funny. That's what it sends me every time. He just even just with this stuff they said in the beginning.
You are cooking, and
you are the.
What are you blathering about?
Who plays Skinner again?
Ian Holm.
He did a great job.
Rest in peace.
All the yelling, the way he's able to make his voice sound that it's
who cooked the ratatouille? I demand to know. He just takes. That's the thing. He has sunglasses on. He just takes the sunglasses off, and he tells there's a bunch of rats.
You reminded me when the health inspector comes in at the end. He just looks. He's like,
they just look at it.
I also choose to believe that this is where they got the idea for Plague Tale.
Yes, absolutely yes. Oh my god!
I'm just thinking the characters, the back and forth when I was talking to you about this earlier, where I did talk to when they're making they pull out that old recipe and he's changing it, and he's like, "That's what I'm saying." And maybe we should listen to you. And Remy makes him slap himself. It's like, stop that! Stop what? Freaking me out. That and the other part is, well, it's just a part of me, the Gusto part, and he crosses the pants, and Remy makes him hit himself in the head. It always made me laugh though because it's understandably, Remy's upset because Linguini gets all the credit, but then I thought, how's he going to tell everyone this? It's just, it's understandable frustration. I just remember thinking, Remy, it's not like he's going to tell everyone there's a rat controlling him.
I know.
And then when he does, I like how many movies he does that and everyone just kind of buys it in a weird way. But in this one, they walk out and they're like, yeah, we're not doing this.
You're totally right. And then, you're right.
It's actually it's really sad.
I mean, it is, but it makes sense.
It's funny that they go. You're talking about how they don't let them off the hook for having the rats in.
Yeah, they close them down.
Yeah, so it's funny that they go through and explain that, but they just kind of let it sit that the rat can control a dude by.
Which I'm fine
with. I'm fine with it too. I'm just saying it's funny.
It's so funny.
It's pretty goofy, especially the way they figured it.
That whole montage of them cooking at his apartment is so good.
Also, that omelet makes me really hungry every time I see it. The omelet when Linguini wakes up.
Idiot! I knew his eggs gone. That's what I do. You let a rat. The other thing is, and the last time I watched it, I noticed this too. It's you know how Remy's about to eat and he grabs them because they're late? Mm-hmm. Then you realize, Remy hasn't eaten this whole time.
Yeah.
Because ever since they left the countryside, he hasn't eaten this entire time. So he finally eats when he brings him there later and he gives him the cheese. Mm-hmm. Which that other line of, one can get too familiar with vegetables. Oh my gosh. Also, I went frame by frame when he turns the light off and puts him under his toque.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. I'm just hitting the frame by frame. I'm like, wow, that's really good.
Yeah, he was really fast on that.
What are you doing in here? I'm just familiarizing myself with the vegetable. His character, the physical humor for Linguini.
It really is.
Kills
It's
me.
just made like a tall, lanky dude, like just like lapping around. Like it feels so natural.
You know what? I was gonna say something about it. I gotta find it. Hold on. Continue.
Gotcha.
I will find it.
The scene where he's sleeping because he had to clean up the night before, and Remy's like, he has the sunglasses on.
He's just
the whole conversation, which the whole relationship with him and Colette feels so natural too.
It does.
Like you see, because I remember in the past, like it's a little weird. That didn't come out as a kid, and then you watch it now. It's like, no, they're kind of pointing at like she likes him, and that's why she's rooting for him when she's training him because they like each other. And I remember this time seeing it too. I was like, yeah, this whole movie is just naturally progressed. And I used to think there's a lot too much going on when I was younger, and I watched it this time like, no,
it's perfect.
It's perfectly balanced. It's perfectly paced. It never feels too fast or too slow, and it all comes together. So it's really, just like, so well put together.
The pacing, I never thought about that until literally just now. You're right. Like there's not a single slow moment in this that I would cut out.
There's
like,
not a wasted moment.
There's not a wasted breath.
And it never feels too packed in. An example from a first onward feels like they pack so many story beats in because it's like setup and payoff, setup, payoff. And that's where it feels like, okay, we're doing way too much.
That's a real...
Because we're checking things off a box. It's a checklist. This doesn't feel like that. There's a lot going on, but not too much. It's pretty perfectly balanced. We're always invested. There's always something happening. And the two halves of the story complement each other perfectly. And it makes sense because he's living with the humans so much that he's kind of forgotten that. So when it's like he can't choose between them because one he doesn't want to be part of, and the other one he doesn't want him. So it's like this in between. So that moment when he yells at the Gusteau ghost, like, I know who I am. Why do I need you to tell me? It's like I felt that. I was like, man,
that like this really like.
Why didn't you tell me you were his father? I'm a figment of your imagination. How do I know if you do not know?
I love the way they play the Gusteau ghost. Like it, like ever.
That's
like
Brad Garrett too.
Who was it?
Brad Garrett.
The name sounds familiar.
Everybody else Raymond. He's Robert.
Oh!
He does a lot of voice work.
Okay, that makes them. Yeah, I can hear that now. Yeah, he was
you
so
led
funny
me to your restaurant. Yes, indeed I did. Yes, I have led you to it.
Yeah. God, and the worst part that when I was watching this, it was earlier this morning, and I'm like, I'm so freaking hungry. Like
it's a foodie movie.
You cannot watch this movie and not get hungry. It's not
Have either
possible.
of you two ever tried Ratatouille?
No, I would.
It's gross. In my opinion, I'm not a huge veggie person, and it's all veggies.
That sounds right.
I did not like it.
I love vegetables. So
it did not look like something I would be interested in because of the way the vegetables are cooked. And it's
like a lot of squash and cucumber, which I don't like.
I don't like squashes.
But in the movie, it looks like fruit roll-ups.
It does.
And it looks good.
It does.
That's the thing, like, fancy restaurant food like that usually is like small portions for so much money, and it's like, it's not my kind of food. Man, to be that kind of foodie where you're spending that much money to eat barely enough food that most people hate, that's like, not something I'm into.
Like, I probably would love all that food, but like, come on, buddy, you gotta give me at least a little bit more of a portion. Or I know sometimes at those restaurants, like, the portions are that small because they give you like 8 servings. So you get like a little bit of a lot of different things. And like, that makes sense. But like the actual, like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm not going to have a portion that's like the size of like a $50 and like still be satisfied. Like, I'm going to have to go get McDonald's after it. Like,
but that scene where Ego takes the bite is so good.
It's iconic.
Where he goes
back
into his childhood where his mom's cooking. I go, that's so effective. He doesn't say a word in that scene.
It's
drops the pen, and the pen has the big.
Like, I can't imagine a more perfect. Just God, like there's no flaws. Like I cannot think of a flaw.
And he's been and I'm just thinking about this now. Like, Ego hasn't. The only time we've seen him smile is like this like sinister smile, but we actually see joy on his face. It's like he's that cold, heartless critic, but something made him happy. And he takes another bite and just goes, And so it shows Skinner, and I love that they added this where Skinner takes a bite, and even he loves it. He just can't believe it, and that's why he storms into the kitchen. Again, everything just progresses so naturally.
It's like, the pace, like, God, this really is okay.
It really is.
Listen, we were talking about this before I was recording.
It's better than Toy Story 2.
It's not better than Toy Story 2.
Yeah, it is.
It's fantastic. It's flawless. It is flawless.
It's better than Toy Story 2.
I don't think it is. I don't, and I this is way jumping the gun for this show because we're not doing, we still have like so many more movies to get through before we rank all of them. But I just.
What is it you said when we watched Prince of Egypt? I think we peaked.
We've peaked.
Toy Story 2 still just, it has, I think that one has more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Nostalgia.
Yeah, probably. But I
think
it's a little funnier.
I think he's going to try to bank on the emotion of it, which boils down to a couple scenes. And the same with this. That's how movies work.
Yeah.
I just think they're different kinds of emotions. And it's hard to, because it's like the other one makes you cry. This movie doesn't make you cry, but there's so much more going on emotionally in this, I think.
It's so much better balanced. Its comedy makes more sense.
I think the comedy in Toy Story 2 makes more sense, honestly.
Comedy Toy Story, and this is not talking down because Toy Story 2 is great.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just a lot of it is the easier humor, and that's not a bad thing. It's just that's its audience. And then this, just like the thing we said about Incredibles, Brad Bird doesn't make kids movies. He makes movies kids and adults can both like.
That is true.
And I think because he took that approach, it's going to stand out more than most. That's why I'm going to say his two Pixar movies, we're not going to talk about Incredibles 2 yet.
No.
His two Pixar movies are a big standout from the rest.
Brad Bird he is just fantastic. Like he's just a very, very talented director. And I know Incredibles 2 it's a little dip in quality, but I still got entertainment out of it. And especially with Ratatouille, like he knows. Yeah, I'm just going to repeat what you said.
I think
he knows how to make a movie for both adults and kids.
One of the more unique non-Pixar-y films Pixar has made. If that makes sense.
Which
you're talking about Ratatouille, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Now Pixar.
So this is something that our dear friend Hammy said. Because I once asked him, like, this is your favorite and you think this is the best Pixar. He says, yes. I said, what is one big reason? Mm-hmm. And he said, I think it's because it's a Pixar movie where they let people be people. They just let these characters be characters, not just like, some kind of heightened reality. Yes, you have the rat section of it, and that's a huge part of it. But I think he said, like,
that's not really heightened because the rats can't communicate with them.
They can't talk.
It works largely like how reality works, except the rats talk to each other.
Yeah, but rats cannot. Like, are you telling me mice know what we're saying? No. Like
that's where he's saying like it. There's that, and then there's the stuff with the hair, which is fun. He's like, but that's as much as it gets. It's not how does this other world work? How do these things work when we're not looking other than
there's no rules to explain like there is in Incredibles.
Yeah, and it's not the only one. It's just saying it's the best example of one, and it is like something they don't really do anymore. I remember one of his criticisms of Turning Red is, I would have rather just had a slice of life and not any of the panda stuff, to which I said, like, I enjoyed some of the panda stuff, not to talk about that, but he said, they just can't let movies be. They have to add something to make it a Pixar movie. I don't think they do it that well anymore.
But let movies be. That's such a weird, like, I don't understand, like, because every movie ever, like, is made to entertain, right?
Not all.
Most of them, okay, not all of them, but
Come and See is definitely made to entertain.
I mean, but like the majority of of the things you see now, of you're going to theaters, you're watching entertain, right? Like, would it be fair to say maybe like 85 to 90%?
Oh, in theaters,
movies? Yeah. And so like that's, I just think Pixar is really good at making movies to entertain. That's what they do. That's a lot of studios do that. And so just letting it be, it just doesn't seem...
Letting it be, he means instead of adding one more thing to be like, well, it's this, but we're doing this.
The thing is, I don't think in it, but we're doing this is the wrong way to look at it. I think they're just adding more layers of entertainment value. That's at least how
But then they have to explain it, and it gets so convoluted that it's like, who cares anymore?
Well,
why can't we just...
I don't think the majority of them feel convoluted. I don't. I mean, there's maybe...
Soul kind of does. Coco kind of does.
The only one that I was going to get to is Soul, maybe a little bit, but Coco didn't feel complicated.
Soul, even Luca kind of needs that.
That's one of the ones that I haven't seen.
But Luca also plays it more slice of life that works in its favor. It has the heightened fantasy elements that he's not talking about.
I agree with you,
but he does like Luca a lot.
I agree with you that this movie exists on a plane that doesn't need rules rules explained to you.
It has less fantastical elements. I will agree. And
I think you're right. I think that makes it better. Because even Up has some stuff that it needs to explain to you.
Like, don't get me wrong,
Cars definitely does.
It's not coming down to having those make a movie bad. It's just when Pixar keeps doing it over and over and not just letting something just play out more naturally than having to add all these rules. He's just saying he misses this.
That's fair.
Finding Dory didn't need to explain anything because it was the same movie again.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see how this is the least amount of fantastical elements compared to everything else. I can see that, and I think that making more movies like this is probably good for them. I just don't think that makes this movie the best. I can really appreciate, and don't get me wrong, Ratatouille is probably in my top 5, okay? I still really, really, really love this movie, but I just don't think it's Pixar's best movie.
Why?
I don't know.
I don't want this to be me gushing about Toy Story 2, but you asked me why I don't think it's his best movie. It's because I think Toy Story 2 is his best movie. And I think that's because okay. So I think Brad Bird, his movies, specifically his movies, not John Lasseter, not any of the other Pixar crew, Brad Bird is really good about making movies that are, like you said, for adults and kids. But I think when I look at Pixar, I want...
this is what you want. This isn't what the movie is.
Well, that's all movies are. Oh, God, we're gonna get back into subjective and objective. Here we go again. But that's why I think that's why I think Toy Story 2 is the best, is because it makes me feel more
makes me feel
more like a kid. And that's what I want.
So it's not about the movie, it's how does it make me feel?
That's what movies do. Movies make you feel.
Yes, but you can always differentiate, okay, this doesn't make me feel as good as this, but I can recognize the other thing does things better.
And the thing is, it does things more.
Dickey doesn't think things do better or worse unless they make him feel better.
I think they just do different. I think this and Toy Story 2 are drastically different movies. This goes for more of a humanizing, maybe that's not the right word. This goes for more of just a very natural. I was going to say,
Toy Story 2 is probably about the most human I've ever felt.
That's what I was going to say. I immediately took it's humanizing.
4,
this is more natural, I guess. Which again is going back to what you guys were saying. It's less fantastical. This really is about not humans, rats, I guess. But it's just more about just living in Paris and the food scene over there. And it's just really about that place, I think. In Toy Story 2, feels like it's more reaching, because it's not about a specific place in general. It's more about, I just think where this movie is focusing on the art of making food, Toy Story 2 focuses on just...
I don't think that's what this movie is really about.
It's not what it's really... I just think that the setting. The setting of this is about...
the setting of this is Paris.
Yes, Paris and restaurants and stuff like that, where I think where you put a movie in a more fantastical place, like Toy Story 2, you can just... It tends to impact me more because I can't... not that I could see myself... I don't know, I want to feel a little bit more Elseworldy.
You like Toy Story 2 better, so it's hard to say one is the other because you put everything with what you like.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's why. So that's why it's hard to explain why you think Toy Story 2 is better.
But do you think I got around to it? I think the fantastical elements are just something that I look for in Pixar movies. That's why this stands out, is because this is not fantastical, really, at all.
I wish they do this more, though.
Which is fair. I can absolutely see why they should do this more. I just think when I'm getting into a Pixar movie, when I'm sitting down, I'm like, okay, we're gonna watch a Pixar movie. I want to be taken away to a place that I haven't been in, but it still relates back to me, which is where I think Toy Story 2 stands.
I wish he was here right now, man. He'd explain this better than me too. I feel like
that's fair.
I feel like I said it mostly right, but he probably added something that I forgot because I forget a lot.
So not going back to him, but for you guys, I mean.
Yeah. Also, this is the best music they will ever have.
Absolutely.
This is the best music Michael Giacchino will ever compose.
Absolutely agree.
This movie is good without it. But it's not the same. It's so much of the movie.
And all this, it's all original Giacchino. Because I was like, "La vie don't live." Like, you know that, like
that's written for the movie.
It is okay because
they use it in the score too. You can hear it in other parts. You can also hear Skinner's listening to it on his car radio when he drives by and he thinks he sees Remy and I just dropped my keys.
I know.
Le Festin is the name of the song.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's Camille or Camille that sings it, but it's I remember I put it on like a playlist in like high school or something because like, oh, I like this song. Then every time I come on, I'm like, and then you get to the background sings, and I'm like, this is so good. And they end the movie with it.
I know, and I know it's. I was gonna say it was popular on TikTok. It's still popular on TikTok. Like, this is one of those songs where you can play anywhere at any time. And every single person listening to it will know. Know what it's from.
I don't know everyone.
I was gonna say I don't know about that. I was gonna make that point. I think Ratatouille is probably one of the more underrated of the Pixar movies. Like the
last couple of years, it's been a little more.
Yeah, it's been a little more.
But you were saying, sorry to cut you off.
People don't like talk about it.
Not as much. No, it's a shame. It's
probably better for it. I mean, it's not been killed.
That's true.
For me.
The less that it's memed and less that it's just discussed, I think it just holds more power. I know what you were saying. Yeah. Also,
the thing I was looking for on my phone last night when I was watching, when it's going through the opening bit where it's explained kind of.
This is me. I think I need to rethink my life a little bit.
Yeah.
When it's going through explaining Gusteau's and Ego and all that, I thought I saw a masking error on Ego's head. Like, it just like popped out. Looking at it on my phone, it must be the TV I watched it on. It looked like Ego's head was just like during a fade, like the rest of it faded away and his head was just sitting there.
Huh.
And I was like, that doesn't seem like them.
Seems odd.
But it doesn't really do that on my phone, so it must be my TV.
Interesting.
I feel like Pixar makes like very few mistakes like that. Like, they're pretty usually diligent when it comes to it.
Unlike, Captain America, the First Avenger.
Oh, man. It's right there, right?
It's right there.
And you're like,
that's
what?
The line, man.
Yeah.
Is that a zit? Nope, that's not.
That's post.
Yeah. Someone probably got 40 more lashes after not animating it right.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I did want to talk just a little bit more about the music. One,
that bass line when he goes into Gusteau's for the first time.
You were going to bring that up.
Oh my gosh!
I want you to hum it for me because I couldn't find what you're talking about.
I can't remember it.
Well,
it's one of those.
It's like I've been trying to find it.
It fits so well into the movie that you can't like separate it from it.
And then I brought up to him like, because he's talking about when he first enters Gusteau's. I'm saying, oh, there's a part my brother pointed out when he's making the soup, which one of the best scenes in the movie.
I love it.
And there's a part where there's a xylophone. I think it's when he climbs up at a part. It's just like that, just goes up, and I hear it every time now because my brother, who can play xylophone,
and the transition
points it out every time.
And the transition between the music from when you're in the kitchen and everything's hustle and bustle, but then you go through the door and the door shuts and the music just cuts with the shut, or like it changes
to the quartet music you hear at fancy restaurants. And that's where he gets grabbed, right? And Mustafa, the waiter, looks down low, which that's the John Ratzenberg character in the movie.
There it is.
Just that whole back and forth of someone has asked for something new. Just, what did you tell? I told them I would ask. Whole back and forth kills me.
I'm gonna have to watch a part of it to see if I can find that bass line.
I'm gonna try to find the bass. It's like, I had to double check the bottom of it.
Yes, we are really watching this.
I'm curious.
What?
I'm curious where this
You're curious
is.
where the
Yeah.
baseline.
The sous chef in the hospital for the chef's not around.
Patton Oswalt.
Oh, he's so good.
There is a level to which you're like, oh, rats.
Oh, yeah.
There is, but when you have it voiced by Patton Oswalt, it's such a good way to make him stand out more.
Him, he's nobody.
He's no. Anyone
The
can
kitchen.
I love the message of this movie, too.
It's so good, and I don't know.
Well, then that goes into the whole point of the movie, like the anyone can cook thing. I think you just said that. Like, what does Ego say in the thing? It's like
just because
what we call junk is worth more to the artist than any word of our criticism.
Yes, I love that line.
It's so good, just because like
it's hard to talk over him. I love the use of the accordion. I love there's a couple sections with the guitar and harmonica. Like it's so good.
It's the part that's going bum 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 bum.
Okay. It's hard because the low brass are doubling with it. So I was like, I'm listening.
Yeah, but you can hear the pluck of it.
I was listening for something else.
God, even just like the fact that you just have this playing right now, and it feels like the perfect.
I want to watch it again.
I know.
He's in the stove.
Oh my gosh, that
that scene gave me so much stress.
We should probably stop it before we just keep watching the whole movie.
Yeah,
because I'm like, we're just gonna keep watching.
But you're right, Jared. Giacchino will never make anything as good as this ever.
No, and then I can't concentrate.
You just gotta.
Can you please pause it?
I can't.
So
that was a fun little tangent.
I'm gonna bring you into this because it was nominated for score and it lost to Atonement. And my big gripe is like Atonement is, hey look, I have a typewriter, and that's not fair. And it's not fair because Atonement's a good movie.
I've never actually seen
and has it's a good soundtrack, and the typewriter is really it's basically the equivalent of the gimmick in Dunkirk score with the ticking watch. It's used like that. So it's cool. 15 years later, though, which one am I listening to?
Like that's like the
besides
thing
the
is,
fact
like,
I like one better than the other.
especially after we were just that little side, we were just listening to
side. That was like 3 minutes.
Like I just love the
more
fact
than 3
that
minutes.
It like you can like just from the soundtrack you can hear the chaos of him first getting into it, and you like it's just like some of the lighter notes. It still sounds like you're in a fancy kitchen. Like how did they make this so dang good? It's
and that also brings up when he's trying to leave and the soup keeps calling to him. It made me realize like there's so much of the emoting in this movie is through people's eyes, and that's always the case, but especially in this, like his eyes, whether they're squinting or when they do like that little flutter over to the right to look at the soup. And I'm like, man, so much of Remy's character and personality is just in the faces he makes,
which is impressive because I will say I did notice. I don't remember. I can't pick out any specific frames, but like a couple times his face seemed a little odd to me, and I just think that's just like rats, and it's kind of just the way they built the frame of the character seemed just a little odd and off, but it was like maybe like 2 or 3 times.
You'd
like
have to specifically point them out.
No, that's the thing is I can't pick out any frames. I just remember I was watching it and I was like, that leaned a little odd, but it's whatever. I'm still sucked into the movie. Like it's a nitpick. It's absolutely.
I just remember thinking like, wow, they can make a rat look like adorable because some rats, like pet rats that people have, they are. Now, have you ever, like white rats that people have pets?
I'm not a big rat person. I never.
But like, those are
their bars in the middle of the night. You can't sleep.
But they have personal experience with that.
but they're domesticated. Now you're talking like these type of rats, it's like, yeah, that's pretty gross.
Yeah.
But they not only do they do it, but we can know the emotions of all the rat characters just through the way they make faces, which is kind of funny how when you do that to real animals, how much more character and emotion you get out of it. Unlike a certain 2019 movie. Again, if Ratatouille can do it, why can't Lion King 2019? And people are going to say, because Lion King 2019 is supposed to look real. I go, okay, why do they talk then? Lions don't talk like that.
I mean, okay, so, yeah, you have a very good point. You have a very good point.
I won't defend that movie.
Animation,
yeah.
As much enjoyment as I did get from 2019 Lion King, I did.
Ugh.
I did. I know. Call me out, comment, tell me how stupid I am, whatever.
Burn in hell.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I just
he was like, go ahead, say it. So I spoke my mind.
Just because I got enjoyment from that doesn't mean that I feel differently, because I'm going to say this, animation should not look realistic. And I know that I say I got enjoyment from that, but I just like the way that all of this, like, it just, I can't put my finger on it, but like they took a very real world setting and just tweaked it just enough.
Which movie are you talking about?
Ratatouille.
Okay, good. Because the Lion King, no, they didn't take a real world and tweak it. They just recreated it, but worse.
Yeah, no, that's what I like about Ratatouille, with the rats and everything. Like, there was a one, I don't remember when they tweeted this out, but have you guys, you've heard of the one less than perfect shot, the Twitter page?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. And
I've submitted once, and they actually posted it. Yeah.
And
that's fun.
I shout out to them because they're awesome. And B, at one point, I think they posted this, or I just saw this online, of Remy doing like the face.
Oh, yep. That's one of them. Yep.
Like, that's all I like. A lot of like that visual always comes up to me.
I do love how Linguini does it and he throws up, and when Remy just smells, he goes, because he has the heightened smell.
Yeah.
And just think he fixed that with all the crap Linguini put in that. Then Remy just fixed it. And then when he recreates it, it's like, imagine how good it tastes when Remy fixed it. Now imagine you don't put all that crap that Linguini had, how much better it tasted. Like, and that soup looked good.
It did. And I'm going to say this as a extremely novice home cooking cook, okay?
Home cooking cook.
Home cook. My dinner with Dickey.
Dinner with Dickey. Instagram.
I posted some things.
Pictures. I want videos.
Pictures.
I want videos.
I am working on it, okay?
I want commentary and I would say funny one-liners, but you'd have to get Sam to help you out on that.
I was just getting around to saying I can feel Remy's thing where he walks past it, and he, like you were saying, like he couldn't turn away. He kept trying to just like fix it a little bit. Like I feel that. I feel it as like a personal thing where you just want to make it as perfect as you possibly can. And just this makes me love food even more than I already do.
And it leads to one of my favorite exchanges where it's like, he captures it. What do I do with it? Kill it here? No, not in the kitchen. Just now. Oh, it's now. Now, no.
And and especially when he took it out, and just like that whole interaction between him and the jar and him sitting there, they're just like
the
whole shot inside the jar is wonderful.
It's such a cool visual.
The music when Remy returns too is so good.
It's so
and
good.
It leads into him going to his little apartment, which he's like, it's not much. I'm like, dude, it might not be much, but that view is what you're paying for.
Oh, absolutely. And you know he's barely making enough to afford that working in the kitchen like that.
He can't get his bike in because of where the TV is with the couch. I'm like, dude, just like move the TV. Maybe we're not seeing the whole floor plan of this, but just move the TV to the other side of the couch or something. Like, dude, if you're having trouble getting your bike in every single day.
Come on. Think this through, buddy.
That's going to be the sequel. Ratatouille 2.
Ratatouille. Come on. Make it happen, Pixar. Yeah. Make it happen. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention. There's so much.
There's two.
Remy going through the walls up to the first shot of Paris. That whole... like... Him passing by, he passes by the two.
You wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't dare.
You wouldn't dare.
They just start making out. That's great. You see the shadow of Doug from Up, the dog that barks at him. I remember, I was
wondering if that was him last night when I was watching. I was like,
just a little Easter egg, and just the music when he goes up there, and then it goes into the more open, jazzy feel as he's climbing up the vines, then just swells. As you see the first shot of Paris, and you go, "Oh my gosh, this is the best!"
The chills.
Movie.
It hits you with the chills like so hard. You're just like, oh.
See, I think we're convincing Dickey that this is in fact Pixar's best film.
It's not their best. And I know I'm just gushing over and over and over.
What in Toy Story made you feel the way that you felt as that was building to that?
Oh my goodness.
Open.
So it's a very. That's the thing is they go both. This is about to be like a 2-hour episode, all right, buddy?
I don't care.
But like, listen, they're just two different. They go for two different feelings. Okay?
That is very true.
They go for two very different feelings.
That is very true. One is better than the other.
You can't compare two drastically different feelings.
I can. And
how?
That is what this podcast is about.
I know it was about.
What do you mean?
How?
That's the whole point. When we ranked the DreamWorks things, the whole point was a lot of these are really different, but we have to compare them because they do, and it is hard because they do different things.
Yes. What I was getting around to is, so it's not the same feeling. Obviously, it's a different feeling. But what made me feel this way was the scene of them crossing the street. Like, I just think that like everything from like the silly humor of small cones messing up all the traffic. I appreciate that line. I appreciate the intensity of the giant rolling concrete thing, whatever that pipe. Yeah, thank you.
Sewer thing.
The sewer. Yeah, whatever that thing was. Like that added intensity to it. So like what I like about Toy Story 2 is like it that. What's it like? Life endangering moment mixed with the humor of them just being cones crossing the street. Like
life endangering moment. Remy jumped out of an oven.
All right,
and then almost got incinerated underneath a different oven.
That's a fair point, but like,
and then he almost drowned several times.
But
we were watching the scene and we all stopped talking.
And then,
let me finish my point. Let me finish my point.
Took him to a window where he saw all these rats hanging there.
I know that. This is not my point. You were asking what moment in this movie makes you feel like the same, like wow, this is peak. Like the running up the thing, like and finding the thing. Like that's what you were asking me.
You picked the cone scene?
Yes, because that's the one that stands out to me. And everything inside the Al's Toy Bar, with Buzz fighting the other Buzz, with Buzz and Zurg fighting, like all the silly.
That's probably my least favorite part of the movie is the other Buzz. If I think about it, because it's like, man, we're doing this again, and then the third movie, we're doing this again.
Silly and goofy, but it pushes their characters forward. And you look at me. You guys know me. I'm a silly and goofy man. I'm
a silly and goofy man.
I like the silliness.
Can I put that on t-shirt?
Please tell me years ago that was on your Tinder profile. I am a silly and goofy man.
The shirt's going to be Dickey's head. Up the top, it's going to be, I am a silly and goofy man.
Like that's just, I like the silly and goofy stuff. And so that's why Toy Story 2, that's why I think it works better, is because it speaks to that part of me. And
so it's a you preference.
That's how movies are!
It always comes back to that.
It always comes back.
So okay, I'm gonna throw you a bone here and say that not that type of bone. Oh goodness. No.
Threw you off there. Where's that water up there? Oh.
Is that in the shot?
Yes.
Oh no! Is that in the shot?
For those of you audio listeners, Dickey's giant water bottle's been in the shot. Wait, was that covering me or you? I really hope it was covering you. But that's just a preference.
Oh my God.
I'm going to throw you a bone here, Dickey, and say that if I were to pick a moment from Toy Story 2 that is similar to the Ratatouille moment, it would be when Woody is watching
Woody's round.
Jesse!
Yeah.
That one.
Or everything with Jesse.
Yeah, why didn't you pick that?
I don't know, because like...
You picked the codes! And the Elves Toy Bar. I go,
silly and goofy.
I know, it's just funny.
I like silly and goofy.
I am a silly and goofy man!
Now, Dickey only likes Toy Story 2 better because you get to hear Al burp right in Woody's face. He's like, that's better than anything ever made. It was not bleh, it was just
And it's like,
It's like when you burp inside your mouth and just push the
yeah, that's exactly.
Oh.
Yeah. You have to heat it over here.
You got yourself heated. Ratatouille.
Okay.
The best Pixar movie.
The best Pixar movie.
One of the best Pixar movies.
The best
Pixar
One of the
movie.
best Pixar movies.
I think
The
we
best Pixar
peaked.
Yeah, there's no scene in any other Pixar movie of that poor guy on his bicycle slamming into the car and those poor baguettes flying everywhere. That scene is so funny.
All that good bread.
I know.
It's
And
just
he's
gone to
looking.
a waste.
I know it's something that you see in the trailer, but it's just like Rebby goes, "Hey, oh!" I had to pause it. I was laughing. I knew it was coming.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh my goodness!
It's a great part.
Yeah, such a good movie. Such a good. Do we have any other thoughts about Ratatouille? As we've talked a long time.
I think I'm pretty. I think I'm. I can't think
half of this episode is watching the movie.
Half?
Okay, maybe not half.
Okay, most. We just stopped talking and watched it like, oh, I kind of want to watch this again.
It's it's a warm feeling, and that's what it is. It's when you want to feel warm and happy.
And that's why it's the best.
And I didn't see it in theaters because I thought Book of Secrets was a grown-up movie.
That's Jared.
I can go to a movie by myself. I'm 13.
I can go.
I just go. Yeah,
National Treasure.
National Treasure. Book of Secrets.
Treasure 2.
Oh my
God.
goodness.
Which is the worst one.
There's only 2.
Well, for now they're making. They did announce the third one. Yeah.
They're making a show.
Yeah, they're making
Where's
a show.
the show?
It's a show.
They're making a show, and there's rumors that they're going to make a third one as well.
I'm all for it.
Me too, baby. Let's get Nick Cage back. Let's go.
Where'd he go?
I don't know. I want him back in this role.
In that role.
Yeah.
By Benjamin Franklin Gates.
Benjamin Franklin.
A stupid name. I love it. I love those movies. They're so
dumb. They're so dumb, but so good.
What was it? What? Oh, yeah, Jake, what was I thinking about the Da Vinci Code? It's like, wow, this is like National Treasure. It's just as stupid, but it's not fun.
Oh my God, you're right.
It's the same thing. It's like, this is just bonkers. And if this was like played, like, if they just lean into how silly it is,
yeah,
it'd be fun.
Oh my God.
But it's not. They take it seriously. Not to make this about the Da Vinci Code. This is about
totally
Ratatouille.
different. Yeah. Wow.
Well, I mean, the Da Vinci Code takes place in Paris.
That's true.
Wow, it's all connected, baby. Look at us go.
Did Remy hide something in the Mona Lisa?
The Louvre.
God.
Anything else to say about Ratatouille? Were you trying to say something else about the message at the end of the movie? The whole criticism. You said that you love that of the movie. I thought you were about to say something, and then
I didn't have anything other to say than I love that line.
That whole monologue.
And just them, and I just appreciate
it's like an entire character arc in like one.
It really is
moment.
They nailed that moment.
Which is another reason why it's the best Pixar movie.
Best Pixar.
And just the fact that anybody can cook. That's just such a good message.
It's the original gatekeeping story.
Oh,
There you go.
Yeah. I think we've said our piece. Dickey's just screamed this whole time.
We did it. We absolutely
You
did.
need this, Dickey?
I got it.
Okay, fine. Just didn't know if that scrambled your brains having your water so far away in the shot.
In the shot for probably about half of this.
Yeah.
But anyway.
At least you don't work with cameras for a living.
Oh,
ever.
no.
You never have worked with cameras.
Nope, not at all.
Ever.
Don't know what cameras
Where
are
can
about.
they find us, Dickey?
Oh my God. Thank you for listening to today's marathon of an episode. But if you want to catch more stuff, we are on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on Twitter. We're on all the good stuff at Off Slate Media. Make sure to listen to us on Spotify, on Apple, on Google, on Stitcher, on Amazon, on iHeartRadio, on any podcasting app. We're on it. Give us ratings. We love it. And on YouTube, you're going to look at our beautiful smiling faces. Make sure to subscribe.
Ugh.
Subscribe, ring the bell, give us a like, comment below. We want to know what you guys think. If you're liking what we're doing, I think we're doing good. You think?
I mean,
Me and Jake are doing fine.
I mean, I think that we think that Ratatouille is the best Pixar movie. I don't know what's going on over there.
Found it.
Aye.
Anyway.
It's like the boss baby of DreamWorks.
It really is. Oh my God.
Anyway, next week, another good one. We'll be discussing Wall-E. Wall-E.
A newly released Criterion, baby.
I love that. Anyway, that's for next week. What was my next part? Oh yeah, we'll see you next week.
There it is.
That's next week. We'll see you next week. From all of us at Off Slate Media, have a good one.
Bye.
Oh yeah, this is Dimlits. Now bye. Forgot to say that.
What did you say instead?
I didn't say it at all.
Oh.
Good lordy. Hey, why do they call it Ratatouille? Isn't it like a stew? Like rat and patootie mixed together? It's like rat patootie.
Shut up.
Oh, I missed.
I need a roll of toilet paper.
Are we still
Hey,
going?
give me that roll of duct tape. I need something a little more.
No,
Oh no! Rat patootie.
Shut up. I missed. Give me my flippy.
Just water isn't
Do
gonna
you
do
think
anything.
the
You can't
water
just wash
in
it.
Paris is clean? Why do I feel like Gusto's is not going to give me Black Death?
Because they closed it down.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I must have ate too much of the rat's ratatouille.
But I noticed that this watch. I'm so glad you said that. Oh, I love the way they tied it into score because it feels like doesn't it feel like a song that exists outside of the movie? Like
It is a song that exists outside the movie.
Oh, it is.
Card's full.
No freaking way.
You know what? I bet you it's still set to 30 frames.
Crap.
It starts in this bit.
Watch this part. I couldn't find what he was looking for.
Just listening to this.
We're gonna get copyright claim for this.
Oh, there's absolutely going to be taken down.
You don't hear that?
You're playing it on your phone.
It's kind of hard to hear on the phone, bud.
We're spending this time listening. Because I'm like, oh, the movie. Oh, we're on a podcast.
But yeah,
You gotta edit
no,
around this because we're just sitting here in silence.
great. This is great. Yeah, this is top tier content right here.